Okay, let's unpack the overwhelming world of weight loss. You
Mm.
search online and boom, just a million different diets, right? Everyone promising the moon.
Oh, absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
lot. So much conflicting advice.
Yeah, it really makes your head spin. What you actually want is just clarity, like something that works, something sustainable.
Exactly. And that's kind of why we're here, isn't it? To try and find that clear path.
Totally. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we sift through all that noise for you. We grab a bunch of really trusted sources, pull out the key stuff, the surprising bits maybe.
Hmm.
And today, yeah, we're laser focused, sustainable weight loss, but grounded in science. We've looked at NHS guidelines, Johns Hopkins, Harvard Health, Mayo Clinic, Healthline, even transcripts from doctors and health channels online.
Right. So it's a real mix, official guidelines, expert takes, practical advice, trying to get that full picture.
Think of it as your curated guide, your shortcut through the maze.
You gotta do it.
Okay, so first things first, understanding what a healthy weight even is for you and setting goals that, don't feel impossible.
Right. The NHS mentions BMI, body mass index, as a place to start. That calculation using your height and weight.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But it's just one tool, really, a starting point.
Yeah.
What a lot of the sources like the CDC and Mayo Clinic really stressed was that even like a small weight loss makes a big health difference.
How small are we talking?
Just 5% of your current weight. So if you're, say, 200 pounds, losing just 10 pounds can significantly improve things. Blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar levels.
Wow. Okay, only 5%. That actually sounds doable, encouraging even.
It is. And that ties into the pace of weight loss, too. Most reliable sources, NHS, Mayo Clinic, CDC, Dr. O'Donovan we look at, they generally recommend aiming for about 1 to 2 pounds a week.
So roughly half a kilo to a kilo.
Exactly. That steadier pace, it's just much more likely to stick long term. No crash diets.
Right, the NHS specifically warns against those drastic measures. Makes sense. Something else Dr. O'Donovan and Mayo Clinic brought up was setting different kinds of goals, process goals and outcome goals.
Yeah, that's a great point. So an outcome goal is the result you want, like lose 10 pounds.
Okay.
But a process goal is the action you'll take to get there, like walk for 30 minutes every day.
Ah, I see. So you focus on the daily habit, not just the final number?
Precisely. You build the habits and the outcome tends to follow. It shifts the focus to what you can actually control day to day.
Okay, I like that. Focusing on the doing, not just the result. All right, let's switch gears to diet, food. This is where it gets super complicated for most people, I think.
It can feel that way, but honestly, across all the sources, Harvard, Healthline, Mayo Clinic, some really clear themes popped up again and again.
Like what?
The big one. Prioritize whole, single-ingredient foods. And conversely, really limit the processed stuff.
Why is that so fundamental? What's the deal with whole foods?
Well, Healthline and Harvard explained it well. Whole foods are just naturally more filling. They've got fiber, nutrients, less added sugar, less unhealthy fat usually.
Okay.
Processed foods, often the opposite, packed with added sugars, unhealthy fats, loads of calories. And Healthline made a good point. They're often like engineered to make you want more.
Engineered. Yeah, that makes you think, doesn't it? Those convenient snacks. Maybe not so great.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that kept coming up was protein. Why is protein such a big player in weight loss?
Protein's great. It does a few things. Healthline mentioned it actually gives your metabolism a little boost because your body burns more calories digesting it.
Interesting.
But maybe more importantly, it really helps you feel full. Satiety. That helps cut down appetite naturally, so you might just eat less overall without feeling deprived.
So like having eggs for breakfast, as Healthline suggested.
Yeah, that's a perfect example. A simple swap that can make a difference in how full you feel through the morning.
Good tip. And then, of course, fruits and vegetables. Everyone says eat your greens, right?
They do, and for good reason. The NHS has their 5-a-day campaign. Mayo Clinic and Dr. O'Donovan suggested aiming for maybe even more, like 4 servings of veg and 3 of fruit daily.
That sounds like quite a lot.
It might seem like it, but think about why. They're low in energy density, meaning you get a lot of volume, lots of nutrients, lots of fiber, but not a huge number of calories. They fill you up.
Low energy density. Got it. Lots of food, fewer calories. Makes sense.
Exactly.
Okay, what about carbs? Always a hot topic? Low carb, no carb. What did the sources say?
Yeah, carbs are definitely debated, but the main distinction that came through, especially from places like Healthline and Mayo Clinic, is between refined carbs and whole grains.
So white bread versus brown bread.
Sort of, yeah. Refined carbs, white flour, white rice, sugary drinks, they've had the fiber and a lot of nutrients stripped out. Healthline noted they can even kind of trigger overeating sometimes.
Okay.
Whole grains like brown rice, oatmeal, whole wheat bread, they keep that fiber and the nutrients. They're just better for you overall and more filling.
And what about those low-carb diets? Johns Hopkins mentioned them.
Right. Johns Hopkins Medicine pointed out that some studies show low-carb diets can lead to quicker weight loss initially compared to low-fat diets. But, and this is key, they stress the most important thing is finding an eating plan you can actually stick with long-term. Sustainability is crucial.
So low carb might work for some, but it's not the only way, and maybe not the best way for everyone long term.
Exactly.
And fats. We used to hear cut out all fat. Is that still the thinking?
Not really, no. It's shifted more towards choosing the right fats.
Mm.
Harvard, Dr. O'Donovan, Mayo Clinic, they all talk about the benefits of healthy fats.
Like olive oil, avocados.
Yep, those, nuts, seeds. But, and Mayo Clinic added this important caution, even healthy fats are dense in calories, so moderation is still key. You can't just eat unlimited amounts.
Right. Good fats, but watch the portions. That makes sense. And the big one, sugar, added sugar.
Oh yeah, huge topic. Healthline, Harvard, Mayo Clinic, all very clear on the link between lots of added sugar and health problems, not just weight gain. And they highlighted how sugar hides in so many processed foods.
Things you wouldn't even expect sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So a really simple, effective tip from the NHS and Mayo Clinic was just swapping sugary drinks, soda, juice, sweet coffees for water, maybe add lemon or lime if you want flavor.
That feels like a manageable first step for a lot of people.
Definitely.
And fiber. We mentioned it with whole grains and veg, but why is it so helpful?
Fiber is fantastic. Healthline and other research, like from McEwen's group, show it promotes fullness. It helps you feel satisfied after eating, which, again, can lead to eating fewer calories overall without really trying.
Okay, so this picture of healthy eating is getting clearer. Lots of whole foods, lean protein, fruits, veggies, whole grains, healthy fats in moderation, cut back on processed stuff and added sugar, get enough fiber.
That's a pretty good summary, yeah.
But it's not just food, is it? Movement has to be a part of it.
Oh, absolutely critical. Johns Hopkins Medicine really emphasized how physical activity is particularly good at burning that visceral fat, the abdominal fat, which is linked to more health risks. And it improves your overall body composition, more muscle, less fat.
And the NHS has that target, right? 150 minutes a week of moderate activity.
Yep, at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity. Things like brisk walking, cycling, swimming. And the good news is you don't have to do it all at once. You can break it up.
Like 30 minutes 5 times a week, or even shorter bursts.
Exactly. Shorter sessions totally count. Consistency is more important than doing one massive workout. Medical News Today reported on the American Heart Association recommendations echoing this.
And Johns Hopkins mentioned something about insulin.
Yeah, some of the biology behind it. Exercise helps lower circulating insulin levels. High insulin can encourage fat storage, and it prompts your liver to start using up fatty acids for energy. So it works on multiple levels.
Interesting. And it's not just cardio, right? We saw strength training mentioned quite a bit too.
Yes. Johns Hopkins, Healthline, Mayo Clinic all highlighted strength training. Building or just maintaining lean muscle mass is so important
Why's that?
because muscle burns more calories than fat, even when you're just sitting around at rest. So having more muscle helps boost your overall metabolism.
Okay, so lifting weights, body weight exercises, resistance bands, that kind of thing.
Precisely. Incorporating that a couple of times a week can be really beneficial.
And what about people who think, "Ugh, I hate the gym," or "I don't have time for workouts"? Dr. O'Donovan and Mayo Clinic had some tips there.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be formal exercise, just finding ways to be more active in your daily life. Simple things.
Huh?
Taking the stairs instead of the lift, parking your car a bit further from the shop entrance, getting up and walking around during TV ad breaks, or for a few minutes every hour if you have a desk job. It all adds up.
Small changes, big impact over time. Okay, so food, movement, checked. But what about the mental side? The mindset, the habits, that seems crucial for making it stick.
Absolutely fundamental. Almost all our sources, Harvard, Dr. O'Donovan, Mayo Clinic, Medical News Today, they hammered this point home. This isn't about a temporary diet. It's about lasting lifestyle changes.
Ditching the diet mentality.
Exactly. And a big part of that, something the CDC and Mayo Clinic mentioned, is understanding your why. Why do you personally want to lose weight or get healthier?
What's the deeper motivation?
Right. Is it for your health? To have more energy for your kids? To feel more confident? Knowing that deeper reason helps you stay motivated when things get tough. Dr. O'Donovan even suggested writing those reasons down. Keep them visible.
That's a good idea. A reminder. We also saw recommendations about tracking things, food, activity, even sleep and stress.
Yeah, self-monitoring. CDC, Medical News Today, Mayo Clinic, all touched on this. Just
Hmm.
keeping a simple log, maybe in a notebook or an app, helps you see your patterns clearly.
Like, oh, I didn't realize I snacked so much in the evening. Or, wow, I barely moved yesterday.
Precisely. It's not about judging yourself, it's about awareness. Medical News Today said it helps identify areas where you might want to make small adjustments. It's feedback for you.
And it's not just tracking the bad stuff, right? Focusing on the positive.
Yes. Dr. O'Donovan and Mayo Clinic stressed finding that inner motivation, focusing on the positive reasons, the benefits you're seeking. That positive framing is really powerful.
And having support helps too, I imagine. Friends, family.
Hugely important. Dr. O'Donovan, CDC, Medical News Today, Mayo Clinic, they all mentioned the value of social support, whether it's family cheering you on, a friend to walk with, or even a formal support group. You don't have to do it alone.
Sharing the journey makes it easier. Okay, what about how we eat? Mindful eating came up.
Harvard, Medical News Today, Mayo Clinic. It's about being present when you eat, paying attention,
How does that work?
slowing down, tuning into your body's signals. Am I actually hungry? Am I full now? Chewing properly, savoring the taste and texture, turning off the TV, putting down the phone, just eating.
Sounds simple, but probably harder in practice.
It definitely takes practice in our busy world.
And what about those triggers like walking past a bakery or stress eating?
Yeah, environmental cues. Medical News Today brought that up. Becoming aware of what situations or moods or places tend to make you eat when you're not truly hungry. Once you're aware, you can develop strategies to handle them, maybe avoid the trigger, or have a plan for what to do instead.
Makes sense. Awareness first. Sleep also got a mention from Healthline.
It did. Lack of sleep can mess with your appetite hormones, ghrelin and leptin. So getting enough good quality sleep can actually support your weight management efforts indirectly.
Everything's connected, isn't it?
It really is.
What about intermittent fasting? It's so popular right now.
Yeah, Harvard and Healthline mentioned it. It's basically an eating pattern cycling between periods of eating and voluntary fasting. For some, it can be a simple way to reduce overall calorie intake.
So does it work better than just cutting calories normally?
Not necessarily, according to the sources. They noted it doesn't seem inherently more effective for weight loss than traditional calorie restriction if the total calories consumed are the same. It's more about finding an approach that works for the individual, and it's definitely not suitable for everyone,
Okay, so another tool in the toolbox, but not a magic bullet.
pretty much.
And Healthline mentioned something about food addiction with processed foods.
Yeah, it's a complex area, but the idea is that some highly processed foods, with their intense combination of sugar, fat, and salt, might trigger reward pathways in the brain in a way that resembles addiction for some people, leading to cravings and difficulty controlling intake.
Wow, that goes back to the whole versus processed foods point, doesn't it?
It really does. And finally, maybe the most important mindset piece, positivity and perseverance.
Don't give up if you have a bad day.
It's exactly. Medical News Today, Mayo Clinic, CDC all emphasize this. Weight loss isn't linear. There will be setbacks, plateaus, slip-ups. That's normal. The key is to be kind to yourself, learn from it, and get back on track without throwing in the towel. Staying positive is crucial.
That's a really important message. Okay, so we've covered diet, exercise, mindset. Were there any specific practical tools or quick tips that stood out?
Yeah, a few concrete things. The NHS in the UK has a free weight loss plan app. It gives you a 12-week plan, tracks progress, offers support.
Oh, nice. A free structured program.
And the website also has tons of healthy recipes and exercise videos, all free. Great resources.
Good to know. What else?
Healthline had that simple tip: use smaller plates. Psychologically, it can help you feel satisfied with the smaller portions because the plate looks full.
The old smaller plate trick. Does it work?
Seems like it can help for some people. And Medical News Today mentioned portion size guides, using your fist as a comparison for carbs, a tennis ball for fruit, a deck of cards for meat, just visual cues when you're eating out or don't have scales.
Handy visual guides. Practical. And hydration.
Crucial. Drink plenty of water. NHS, Medical News Today both stress this. Sometimes we mistake thirst for hunger.
Good point. And lastly, for some people, more intensive options might be needed.
Right. Medical News Today and the CDC mentioned that for certain individuals, especially those with significant weight-related health problems, weight loss medications or bariatric surgery are options. But these always need to be discussed and managed carefully with a doctor. They're serious interventions, not first-line approaches for most.
Understood. So, really, pulling this all together, The big message seems to be that sustainable weight loss isn't about some secret trick or extreme diet.
Not at all. It's about making gradual, consistent, lasting changes to your overall lifestyle.
Yeah, a combination. Eating well with mostly whole foods, moving your body regularly in ways you enjoy, and working on that mindset, the motivation, the resilience.
Exactly. And as Harvard pointed out, the best approach is ultimately the one that you can stick with long term, the one that feels right for you and supports your overall health, not just the number on the scale.
There really is no one-size-fits-all answer, is there? It's finding your path.
That's the key takeaway. Personalization and sustainability.
So as you're listening to this, maybe think about just one thing. One small step you could take today based on all this. Could you swap one sugary drink for water, add a few minutes of walking, cook one meal from scratch instead of getting takeout?
Yeah, just one small thing. And maybe also take that moment to connect with your why. Like we discussed, what's your personal motivation? Jotting it down can be surprisingly powerful.
Great advice. And of course, if you want to dive deeper, check out the sources we mentioned: NHS, Mayo Clinic, Harvard Health, and the others.
And always remember, talking to your doctor or registered dietitian is a really good idea for getting personalized advice that's right for your specific situation and health needs.